So, the main challenge which our education system right now faces or is the student evaluation. If I talk about, the main aim of the education, when we talk about any education system, it is three aspects we always talk about. That is what to teach, how to teach, and how to evaluate. Because the entire ecosystem of education moves around these three parameters. So what to teach is the curriculum, and that you have been always you have been learning, or you have been listening to so many experts and speakers about the curriculum design or the effective implementation of the curriculum. Then how to teach, also the various pedagogies or teaching learning process. So whatever we are teaching, how we are teaching, the main thing is the outcome, the final outcome. That is where, if a student is coming to us for a particular degree or a particular program, what proficiency he is gaining, that is what is the learning. Okay, we are moving out from the talking the output, final output, to the final outcome. That is, we are now not interested that how many students passed, how many students have CGPA. That should not be the main criteria. The main criteria should be how much the student learning is, what skill the student has gained, what proficiencies he has achieved, how he has improved his knowledge and skill. That is the gist of actually the outcome based education. So it means at the end of the day, the final outcome plays a very important role. If a student comes for a 4-year BTech degree, what he is going to achieve after completion of the 4-year degree. His student is coming for masters, he is coming from diploma, whatsoever he comes for, the main concern is the what outcome he has achieved. And which is, when we are talking about the outcome, so we should have some tool, some parameters to check that whether the outcome has been achieved or not. And those tools and those parameters are basically the assessment and the evaluation tools. Whatever we are teaching, we might have a very good curriculum with us. We might have very good teaching learning methods. The good teachers are there, good infrastructure is there, lab is there, all everything is available. But we do not have good technique to check whether the student has learned or not, whether that infrastructure or labs or curriculum were useful for the students to the learning. The entire effort goes waste. I think I'm clear, right? So the very important role is the assessment and the evaluation of the learning of the student. Whether learning is in the theory part, that is the knowledge part, or the skill part, what the student has learned at the end, that plays a very important role, right? So today my main objective is to talk about the student evaluation or assessment, and then we'll talk about the how the examination reforms are to be taken into account to come up with a good evaluation techniques. Okay, so I would first like to have some input from you. We generally use the two terms assessment and evaluation. So, can anybody give me an answer that is there any difference, or they are the same words? And or what do you understand by assessment? What do you understand by assessment or evaluation? Are they same terms? First of all, are they same terms? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, as far as I can think of, that assessment is a type of feedback that is measuring learning progress and achievement. And evaluation means we are making some judgment or decisions based on that assessed data.
Right, very right, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Dikshit. So, chalo, at least I have one person with me now. So, many a times we always use these assessment and uh, evaluation as the similar meanings, that we are evaluating or we are assessing, but there is a difference between the two. So when we say assess, right, the assess means, if you see the origin of the assess word, that comes from the Latin verb to sit with. That is, we are sitting with the learner. So basically, assessment is that it is something we do with the students and for the students, not to the students. We are not, we may evaluate the students, we are not assessing the students. We are like, assessment is something which we are doing for the students. So that is actually the tools which are giving us the information concerning the performance of the student. As ma'am said, we are gathering some information about the student's performance. That information can be through a mid semester exam, written exam, oral exam, quiz, assignment, seminar, anything, right? So, assessment refers to the gathering the evidences, gathering the data. So, or when you are gathering the data, not only the gathering the data, but also putting the data in a particular format that can be interpreted, right? So if you are taking like a seminar, so seminar, if you are taking as a tool for assessing the students' proficiency in presentation skills or confidence level whatsoever. So it's not that okay, you are taking seminar. You have to come up or you have to format your assessment tool in such a way that it can help to interpret the student's performance. So, like, just if we take the example I take, we do the debate or declamation or any like seminar only. So we define that okay, 5 marks for the presentation skills, 3 marks say for the uh, question answerings, 2 marks say for the communication skills or the personality performance. So we are gathering the seminar or we are taking the seminar, that is an evidence, but we are transforming that data or quantifying them, or in any way we are transforming the data so that they can be interpreted. And then on these assessment tools, we can apply various techniques, or we can analyze that data, or we can apply the analytical techniques, or we can have some hypothesis and explanation, so that the collected information becomes useful information, or I would say use the word, the collected data becomes useful information. Okay, so that is your assessment. So assessment is collecting evidence for the student performance, right? And now because when we are moving towards NEP 2020, and when we talk about effective implementation of the curriculum, it's not only the student cognitive capabilities have to be measured. It is now the measure overall holistic development has to be measured. So, when we talk about assessment, we have to talk about the students' performance, not only during the just class or lab, but the overall final like program outcomes we talk about, or we talk about the institute effectiveness. So, main thing is that the collection of the evidences to check the students or the institute or the department performance. Usually हम कहते हैं assessment of the students, assessment of the program can be there, assessment of the teachers or the faculty performance can be there, assessment of the institute can be there, right? So this is what we understand by the assessment, and we all know what is the purpose. So if we are talking about the student assessment, the primary purpose is not only to assess but a step forward, that is to improve the quality, because when we will assess we will come to know the level of assessment, the level of where the problem is, where there is a gap. So then we can come up with some actions, we can come up with certain modalities to improve the students performance, so students learning. So primary purpose is to improve the quality at every level. Okay, and when the quality assessment is for only the quality improvement of the student, then obviously the secondary purpose will become the quality improvement of the program, the quality improvement or the achievement of the vision of the department or of the institute, achievement of the mission of the institute. So it is a win-win situation. If we come up with a good assessment technique which gives us a very clear cut idea and a good idea about the students' performance and the quality, then we can come up with the various other techniques to improve the quality of the students, of the department, of the faculty, of every stakeholder. Okay, so I hope that concept of assessment is clear. Now we talk about the concept of evaluation. Okay? So evaluation is nothing but it is an effort or again a tool method to use those assessment evidences which we have collected to come up with the certain judgments, to come up with the certain final evidences, okay, final results. So basically whatever tools we have designed for the assessment, okay, whether as I said, maybe it may be quiz, assignment, examination, oral examination, anything, whatever we are on the criterias which we are assessing, and those criterias, those evidences can be put onto certain analytical techniques or hypotheses, as I said, and then you evaluate or judge the student performance or the institute performance or the department performance based on those assessment. So basically evaluation is, if I define, it is a systematic process of collecting, analyzing, and interpreting information. So, if I use the word collecting in it, it means the assessment part is also the in this. So, assessment is the sub part of the evaluation. So, you collect, analyze, and interpret the information. And the final aim of the evaluation is again to check whether the final, the outcomes or the learning outcomes or the vision, mission, whatever you say, that have been achieved or not. The student performance has been improved or achieved or not, right? So basically, evaluation is to determine the value of a program, of a product, of a performance, or of a process. So when we are evaluating, see, especially when these NBA team comes or NAC or any quality check teams, when we go for accreditation, basically what they are doing, you are providing the data, okay, the evidence, that is your assessment. They really come to evaluate what is the worth of your program, right? So whatever data you have given to them, all of you, those who have already gone for the accreditation, NBA or NAC, so they are aware of this, that when the team comes, they evaluate your worth, I mean the departmental or the students or the institute's worth, based on whatever evidence you provide to them. So this is the best example you can find out a difference between assessment and evaluation. Okay. So now if I so when we talk now, this was a general about the assessment and the evaluation difference. Any query? Okay. So now I'll be talking about the evaluation of the learners, because main focus as a faculty fraternity, academic fraternity, our focus is to evaluate the learning of the learners. Okay, so how the teachers assess the learners. So whenever we talk about the education system, we take into account three major contributing factors, that is knowledge, skill, and attitude. How these have to be evaluated and how these have to be used. We'll talk about this. And why do we want to evaluate? So that we have the idea of the performance of the student, that is past, We know about the past, what the student has learned, how the student is, and coming to the present, that is how the performance can be improved or how he is changing, so that the future requirement, future needs, and future performance can be enhanced. So this is the main criteria of the evaluation. And as I said, any education ecosystem, the main thing is to evaluate our knowledge, skills, and attitude. But now you see, I've written it in the reverse order. As NAP, in NAP or the present scenario, if I talk about the education system, it has reversed. Now the main focus is attitude. Now we call it as ask. So main thing is you have to know about or improve the attitude of the students. Knowledge, the earlier, like after independence, knowledge was the main important parameter, because there was the Indian people after educate after independence were not educated, and they were not very much enthusiastic to get educated and go into schools. So the main focus of the government was to disseminate the knowledge. So the entire focus was give the knowledge, make them study, go to let them go to the schools and all. Okay, so this was the main focus, knowledge. Then it was seen that okay, skills is important. You should, along with the knowledge, the skill should also be given. And then third part was attitude, which was not considered to be the part of evaluation of the academic system. It was considered as okay, human values, बच्चों में क्या values, ethics हैं, what the students they have, are they good citizens, do they have their knowledge about rights and duties, how they have to behave in the society, in the institute, whatsoever. So that was considered as that okay, the school or the family or the society is responsible. But now with this NEP 2020 and the present scenario, it is that now it has to be the part of the your education system also, because education, right now, up till now, education was related to the academics only. You were considered educated if you are BTech, MTech, MSc, or PhD. Even if you might, or if you are a MTech with a good score, but you do not have any, you know, concern about your society, you do not do anything about the environment, you are not a good human being about the human values and ethics, then it was not met, it was not a point of, or matter, it did not matter, because education was synonym to the academics. Okay, if a student is highly qualified, he is educated. But now it is not so. When we, academics has to be the, it's a small part of the education. If I say a student is educated, so he is academically also he is good, and he has good overall as a personality, as a good citizen, as a good human being, as a good person. Okay, so now we have to talk about the education system in terms more about the attitude also. Obviously the knowledge and skill has to be there. So now the evaluation, when we talk about in our institutes or class, we have to evaluate the student on the basis of all the three factors: knowledge, attitude, and skill, right? So because the competency now, uh, not because, again same thing, it's because there is no dearth of knowledge. Whatever you are teaching in the class, the student has much more information in his mobile phone. So if he has the attitude to get the knowledge or to get the skill, he can, right? So but that attitude has to be there. He should be mentally prepared, he should be ready to grasp or to come to the class. It should not be that only if there is a teacher, if you have the marks for the attendance, or you have the internal marks are with the teacher, then only student will come. No. So that attitude has the competency now talks about more about the attitude. So I get digress. Okay. So now present scenario, the evaluation has to talk about all these three parameters. Okay, I'll continue further for about this topic. So now if I talk about the various type of evaluations which we are doing in our present system also, but in the coming system there will be another evaluation also which I'll talk about. So the main thing is, first thing is formative evaluation, which we are right now doing it, which was not the part of our education system earlier, but right now it is. So formative evaluation means we are evaluating the student's performance during the course, the due course. So it is not that only end of the program, like earlier in our times we used to have only the final exam, or the final evaluation was only the based on the end semester exam. If there were mid semester, the very small weightage was there or no weightage was there. But now, as right now also we are doing it, that the student competency or performance has to be evaluated on the basis of his assessment for the entire semester or the entire course duration, right? So that it all whatever the student is learning during the entire semester has to contribute to evaluate him for his performance. Okay, so that we all know that formative assessment is the part of the assessment right now. Okay, so and we all understand the advantage of this, because it becomes a feedback to the student. If we go for the formative assessment, it is a sort of a circular closed loop system. The student will come to know that I am not performing well. Okay, the teacher will come to know the gap between, or he will come to know which student is not performing well, or what is the reason. Basically, it's not only the fault of the student that uh, the students are not doing good. It may happen that the teacher is not coming to the level of the students. So it becomes a a introspection on behalf of teacher as well as on behalf of students, to introspect that where the lacuna is and what can be done. That is why the formative assessment has a very very important role, uh, as compared to the summative. Summative evaluation has also its role, plays its own role, but more focus should be given on the summative, formative. So summative is at the end of the program, that is during the course of the study or the after the end of the entire program, what learning has a student gathered, how that learning, whether it is knowledge or skill or attitude, the how it has impacted the student performance or the student learning. Okay, okay. So I would like to know about what is the percentage of the formative and summative assessment in your institute. Anyone? Can anybody
40,
give me
60, ma'am.
40,
60.
40, 60? 40 is for formative and 60 is for summative.
Submit.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, but after like when NEP 2020 comes into picture and you will go for the curriculum redesign and assessment, it is going to be reverse. 60 will be for the formative and 40 will be for the summative, because more focus is that how it's not the end of the journey, that student has completed this course in one semester and at the end he has achieved 60% marks. No, what we are talking about when we talk about holistic, it is the journey which matters. After going first unit, you must be doing course outcome, program outcomes. So after completion of one unit, what he has studied, how you are going to evaluate his performance after second unit, after third, so at every level. So there is a saying also, it does not matter where you have reached the goal, but matters is how you have reached. So the entire journey throughout the semester of teaching whether it's teaching, learning in the form of, again, the chapter wise or the skill, or even the again attitude part. See, that I call something hidden curriculum. When you talk about the curriculum development, you have curriculum, you have uh, scheme is there, subjects is there, you have LTP, these many lectures, these many practicals, these many theory classes. You make a course plan, itne lectures for this topic, itne assessment, itne quiz for this topic, itne questions for this topic, you all make that. But there are certain aspects which I call them as hidden curriculum, which may not be the part of curriculum, but the student learn by being in the college, by being in the class, by being in the lab, by being in the hostel. So if he is in the class, it is not the part of curriculum to teach him punctuality, to teach him respect, to teach him, respect for others, to teach him self control or motivation or lifelong or self learning. So that comes from the how you are dealing with the students in the class, and that you can make it at the part of your formative assessment. जैसे हम पंक्चुअलिटी के मार्क्स देते हैं, राइट, अटेंडेंस के देते हैं, तो द अटेंडेंस के जब मार्क्स देते हैं, सो द मेन एम इज टू कंपेल द स्टूडेंट टू कम एंड सिट इन द क्लास, राइट. सो इसलिए हम वो अटेंडेंस के मार्क्स देते हैं. ओके, पंक्चुअलिटी जो ओके, इट्स ओके एट टू सम एक्सटेंट. You can give some one or two or some assessment you can do on the basis of the students performance, or performance nahi, students uh, activity in the class, how active attentive he is, how many questions he is asking, how many answer he is replying to the questions. So that is the attitude part. So you can give 2 marks or 1 mark, yeah, tutorial mein or in the lab. How the student is, in lab we always make a group, right? So when we make a group, the student learns how to go for a teamwork. He is not doing all alone. One of the student will be doing the connections, one of the students will be writing the readings and then analyzing those readings. So he learns to uh, do the interpersonal skills or the teamwork in hostel when he stays. So what I'm saying is, that is how we are moving in this direction. We have to move in this direction of formative assessment for the attitude. So only attitude should not be the punctuality. You can come up with some more innovative points by which you can assess the students. And NEP is going to bring this change. They have given, this is like formative and summative assessment. They have given one name. I'm not remembering it. They have given one name to that assessment, which will be the part of assessment in the coming times, where that assessment is related to the this attitude assessment only for the entire. I'll check and cross check, and then I'll let you know. Okay, right. Okay, so now what is the advantages? And because as I said, the formative or the attitude or these are, we all know they are advantages to the students, because they can gauge their learning in throughout the journey, and they have the time. Because if the student comes to know at the end of the semester, I have not performed well, so he has lost the bus, he has lost the train. Okay, so formative assessment always gives an edge to the student as well as to the teacher, that he can come up with the various techniques and methods to improve the performance of the students. Okay, so this is just the comparison of the summative or the formative evaluation, and we as teachers, we all know about it. Okay, you can just have a glimpse of it, and you can, they are self-explanatory, just go through it. So summative and formative, it is, one is only product oriented, that is at the end of the day what we have gained, it is only score focused, right? Only purpose is only to see that how many marks, how many, what percentage. Okay, and it is very rigid, and it is very individually focused. Whereas formative is reflective, it is diagnostic, right? it is cooperative, and it is process oriented. So this we all understand, and we are doing it also. Okay. So one more thing which I would like to emphasize on is that is the type of evaluation which we should do. So one is qualitative assessment and other is quantitative assessment. So quantitative, we are doing it. Okay, we are giving the marks on the basis of the exams which we are taking. We are giving them the grades, the projects. But as I said, some qualitative assessment should also be done, right? Like as I said, some debates, declamations, some interviews, okay, some focus groups could be formed, or role plays could be given, some GDs could be performed. So that is the qualitative assessment of the student. Okay, स्कूल लेवल में जैसे सीबीएसई बोर्ड तो करता है, उसमें बच्चों की सिर्फ क्वांटिटेटिव नहीं होती है, qualitative. Every teacher has to fill certain details about the student, and at school level it is more important because that is the forming stage of the students. In the higher education, when the students come to us, they're already, half ripened mangoes, which, so we cannot talk about much about the qualitative evaluation in the college, but at least again that attitude part has to be taken care of. And then, as I said, in the coming times, the evaluation has not to be only scholastic achievement. As I mentioned, non-scholastic achievement have also to be evaluated, right? How it is there, and not only the behavior or the values, but also how much he is interested in the co-curricular activities. There are so many students जिनको हम कहते थे घीसू हैं, पढ़ाकू हैं, they're only so much focused on their education, that or their academics, that they are not at all interested, or they do not have the personality which, you know uh, it's not only that always dance and music or sports, but at least there should be some activities which the student should be involved outside the classroom. It may be creative writing, it may be photography, it may anything, but apart from the academics. But as I said, the problem with our education system right now is we focus entirely on the academics, right? And or the scholastic achievement is the parameter of get being educated, rather than the non-scholastic achievements. Okay, so just to give you an idea about this one. So this is the part of the evaluation. Now we have to identify the different assessment methods. If I have to do formative assessment, or we have to go for summative assessment, so what tools we should use. So on the basis of that, we call them a direct assessment or indirect assessment. So direct assessment is what we are doing in the classes, your examinations, papers, projects, that are your direct assessment, whereas indirect assessment is on the basis of certain surveys, interviews, as I said, okay, some role plays, co-curricular activities, seminars, presentations. So all these you can use the indirect assessment tools, right? Yeah. So the main challenge which comes in front of our teachers is how to accurately evaluate the students. What tools, and it's not mandatory that for all the subjects the tools will be same. I would say any subject, the tool may be an open book exam, whereas the other subject, the assessment can be only multiple choice question only. A management subject may have the assessment tool as a case study, right? Another management subject may have a role play as the tool. So it is not mandatory that evaluation should be based on the assessment tools, and it should be done with a common stick or the common rule. The teacher can come up with the proper, uh, but yes, justified method, that which assessment tool should be used to evaluate the students, because that evaluation which you give is going to take that student throughout his life. Whatever marks I get in my BTech or class 12th, they come along with me throughout my life till I not only do my MTech or PhD, but also when I go for the job. Right now also, if any after PhD, if a student, if anybody applies for an interview, applies for a job, the assessment begins, evaluation begins with the class 12th marks, right? So that is the effect, the importance or the catastrophic effect of the evaluation. So as a teacher, we it is our responsibility to come up with a good evaluation methods, or to evaluate the students with, by removing the subjectivity, right? I have seen so many teachers, अच्छा इसने तरीके से नहीं बोला, इसको एग्जाम में देखूंगा, अच्छा इसने मेरे को ऐसे क्लास में क्वेश्चन पूछे, मेरे से ज्यादा किया, I'll see him how he gets passed. Please, उस समय का momentary, your reaction towards student may destroy anybody, any student's career or life, or it will affect the student's career throughout their life. So the tools should be well developed, it should be matched directly to the learning goals. You cannot ask a fish to climb to on the tree to evaluate him. अगर आप कहो कि चलो जी मुझे, या बंदर को कहो कि मैं तेरे को किस बेसिस पे इवेलुएट करूंगा कि तू कितनी अच्छे से स्विम कर सकता है, नो. Your assessment tools, your evaluation system should match or coherent with the what is the learning goal. Do you want a student to be a good communicator, and then you are asking him okay, write a paragraph, or you're asking him to just for some other tool, right? So your tools should be good, should be foolproof, and we should be in line what you want the student to learn, what is the final outcome. So whenever you devise these assessment tools, please keep into mind what type of evaluation you are going to do. Okay, whether you are going for a skill, okay, C programming or Python programming, and you are evaluating on the basis of the written exam, what's the fun? If you are evaluating a student's skill in Python programming, you should evaluate, or the assessment tool should be a programming part, not the write a program. No, develop a program or run a program. Are you getting my point? You are asking a office MOP, or some say a student who is a stenography, and you are asking him okay, write how to do the stenography. But evaluation should be how the student, how fast the student is in steno or typing and all. So it is the right person to develop, or to come to the decision that which proper tool for assessment tool should be chosen to evaluate, and for what purpose you are evaluating. Okay. So yeah, any questions or any concern up till now?
Ma'am, I am only concerned about that attitude part
Hmm.
that you are asking. There should be some weightage in this curriculum for this.
Ma'am, as I said, right now we do not have it, but like NEP, after NEP and your curriculum when it will be designed, they are coming up with this. So उसमें जो है ये वेटेज आएगी. जैसे पहले, as I said, पहले फॉर्मेटिव बिल्कुल नहीं होती थी, या 20/80 होता था. फॉर्मेटिव was 20 and summative was
Yes,
80.
yes,
फिर चेंज हुआ 40 and 60, right?
yes.
So because I understand, until and unless it is not on papers, तो टीचर्स चाहते हुए भी नहीं कर पाएंगे.
Yes, we cannot assess the student until it is on some weightage.
Yes, exactly. So that, yes, that will come, that will come. और मुझे नहीं,
Because nowadays, ma'am, in placements also this attitude plays the main role
वेरी
for this.
इंपॉर्टेंट रोल, यस, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. इट मे नॉट, मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको पूरा मतलब सारा इवेल्युएशन जो है वो एटीट्यूड पे ही करना है, कि बच्चे को नॉलेज नहीं है बट उसकी पर्सनैलिटी बहुत अच्छी है, उसकी कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स बहुत अच्छी हैं, तो उसको ज्यादा नंबर मिलेंगे. नो, बट एटलीस्ट देयर शुड बी सम वेटेज. वी कैन
Yes.
नॉट डिनाई के दी परफॉर्मेंस, और या एक मिनट मिल गया मुझे. Yeah, I'll just wait. I'll just screen show my screen. Yeah, they're calling it as authentic assessment, राइट कि कैसे प्रेजेंटेशंस करनी है, रियल लाइफ एप्लीकेशंस, ओवरऑल कैसे परफॉर्मेंस करनी है, क्या कम्युनिटी प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, क्या उसका उस सो देयर विल बी, बट आई ड्यूली एग्री विद यू दैट देयर शुड बी you know written document or instructions to include this, that is there. but फिर भी मैं कहती हूँ थोड़ा सा जैसे जब मैं पढ़ाती थी तो मैं इन आर माय लैब वर्क, स्पेशली इन लैब क्लासेस, जो अगर मुझे 10 मार्क्स इंटरनल असेसमेंट के देने हैं, आई यूज टू गिव 10 मार्क्स ऑन द बेसिस, और 10 लैब्स लगती थी, 10 to 12, आई यूज टू गिव दोज 10 मार्क्स ऑन द स्टूडेंट्स बिहेवियर इन द क्लास, हाउ सिंसियर ही इज ही डूइंग इन द, जो अपनी टीम वर्क में है, अलग से तो नहीं कर रहा है, लड़ तो नहीं रहा है, ही इज परफॉर्मिंग, ही इज डूइंग. सो आई यूज टू गिव दोज 10 मार्क्स ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ डेली असेसमेंट. सो वो
But
आपके,
nowadays, ma'am, because these 10 marks also have their defined rubrics
या
in all college and
यस,
universities.
आई
So
दैट
we have,
दैट इज व्हाई, यस एग्जैक्टली, वही मेरा अगला पॉइंट, अगला टॉपिक है कि आपको रुब्रिक, क्योंकि एज आई सेड वी हैव टू रिमूव द सब्जेक्टिविटी व्हेन वी आर इवेलुएटिंग द स्टूडेंट्स, दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके, मेरा ये चाचे का लड़का क्लास में पढ़ रहा है, सो लेट मी गिव हिम गुड मार्क्स. ओके, तभी ये प्रॉब्लम रुब्रिक की आई थी, बिकॉज लॉट ऑफ सब्जेक्टिविटी वाज इन्वॉल्व while evaluating the students. आपका यू ही नेपोटिज्म है, मेरा नोन है, आई वोंट से कि पैसा खिला दिया तो दे दिए नंबर, ही इज माय रिलेटिव, इसका चाचा मुझे जानता है, इसकी माँ मेरी फ्रेंड है, कर दो. या इसने क्लास में मेरे से मिसबिहेव किया, या इसने नमस्ते नहीं करी, उसने मुझे गिफ्ट नहीं दिया, लॉट ऑफ सब्जेक्टिविटी. सो दैट इज व्हाई the concept of rubric development was came into picture, and it is very very important, so that either I am checking the paper, or you are checking the paper, or any xyz is checking the paper, there is no subjectivity, it is totally objective in nature.
yes,
But
evaluation will be constant whether teacher
yeah,
is.
it will not be affected
Yes.
by
Uh,
the person कौन check कर रहा है.
yes.
That is why, especially जब तो we are making a question paper, then it is okay, we are writing के 5 marks का question है, so we give the breakup also कि 2 marks for giving the concept and explaining this, 2 marks for solving the problem, 1 marks for the analysis part, उसमें तो it is okay. But when we have to evaluate the student performance, say during the uh, is a minor project or major project, or say इंटर्नशिप, और कोई भी जो मेजरेबल क्राइटेरिया जिसके लिए नहीं है, उसको क्वांटिफाई, दैट इज क्वालिटेटिव इवेल्युएशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ क्वांटिटेटिव इवेल्युएशन को कन्वर्ट करने के लिए वी हैव दैट रुब्रिक्स. ओके, एंड सो द रुब्रिक्स भी, पहले रुब्रिक्स जो बनाते थे उसमें वी यूज टू कम अप द टर्म्स, satisfactory, good, again these are very abstract terms. एक्सीलेंट, ओके, एक्सीलेंट मेरा सब्जेक्ट बहुत टफ है, और मैंने कोई टॉपिक ऐसा दिया है, ओपन बुक दिया है, सो आई वुड से कि मेरे सब्जेक्ट ओपन बुक में, और सब्जेक्ट इज वेरी टफ, लेटेस्ट है, सो उसमें गेटिंग वेरी गुड इज ऑल्सो ओके. बट कोई सब्जेक्ट है जो इजी है बच्चों के लिए, जिसकी प्रायर लर्निंग भी है, सो उसमें यू शुड, द स्टूडेंट शुड बी डिस्टिंग्विश्ड और प्रोफिशिएंट. सो पहले वी यूज टू हैव दीज टर्मिनोलॉजी, बट अगेन इसको भी वी हैव क्वांटिफाइड इनटू न्यूमेरिकल range, so that we can quantify, because that may be comparative in a class, in a subject, same class, in one subject the numerical ranging of the rubrics may be different from the numerical ranging of the rubrics of the different subject, depending upon how the what the subject is, and how the teacher thinks that the learning is more effective as compared to the other, right? So we have the idea of this rubric development. So if some of you if may not be having the idea of rubrics, so I'll just wait. ओ इसमें नहीं है अभी, I missed it. Anyway, so basically, uh, when we the rubrics are actually the to check out that what are the learning or what are the what qualities you want that the student should demonstrate, and based on that qualities, whether skill or knowledge whatsoever, what measurable criteria you have, and then you quantify it. Okay, I think you might be having a separate session also on it. So basically what I want to is, for the evaluation of the students attitude or performance which is not actually measurable, a proper rubrics should be developed at the in the institute or at the department level. A very rubric design is a very effective tool for evaluating the students. Okay, so this can be done at every level. So now, one thing is clear, that how the assessment or evaluation has to be carried out, and what uh, problems are to be taken care of. So, based, because there are certain challenges in the present system. Okay, so like if I talk about the present system and I talk about the evaluation, so we all understand there are certain challenges. The uh, evaluation, basically the, how you are evaluating, what examinations you have, they are based on sometimes the curriculum. करिकुलम कितने चैप्टर्स का है, कितने मार्क्स का है, कितने में से 100 में से देना है, तो उसी हिसाब से आपको एग्जामिनेशन बनाना है. सो इट हैम्पर्स द ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ द सब्जेक्ट्स ऑल्सो. और एक्सपेरिमेंट भी नहीं, जैसे मैडम ने कहा कि इट इज फिक्स्ड, मिड टर्म इज 10, final is 50, quiz is 2, even internal assessment is also fixed, 5 marks for multiple choice, 5 marks for assessment, 4 marks for punctuality. So everything is fixed, so you do not get any flexibility or any choice of experimentation. As I said, मैं open book दे रही हूँ. अब open book में marks, मैं 10 नंबर में से अगर बच्चा 6 भी ले आए, so it is considered to be very good. और अगर आप मल्टीपल चॉइस दे रहे हो जिसमें बच्चे के पास ऑलरेडी 4 ऑप्शंस है, सो उसमें द इवेल्युएशन विल बी डिफरेंट. सो द फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी और ऑटोनॉमी इज नॉट given to the teacher right now based on the subject, and that is the major drawback in the evaluation right now in our system. Okay, so first thing is flexibility or preventing the experimentation, the same thing, no flexibility or choices are given. And then the other problem is you do not have uniform criteria, which we are coming up with the rubrics. Many colleges are following, but so many of them are not, or the rubrics are not properly designed. Okay, then yes, guidelines are not strictly followed. कई बार इंटरनल असेसमेंट में टीचर के ऊपर छोड़ दिया जाता है कि 25 मार्क्स आर इंटरनल असेसमेंट, यू कैन चूज योरसेल्फ. सो टीचर्स हैव दैट चॉइस एंड दे डू नॉट फॉलो इट प्रॉपरली. कई बार होता है कि ओके, टू मेक माई लाइफ इजी एंड सिंपल, 20 मार्क्स सीधा क्विज के दे दो, 5 मार्क्स अटेंडेंस. ओके, आई विल नॉट गो फॉर अ वेरी माइन्यूट ब्रेकअप, 5 marks for attitude, 5 marks for punctuality, 5 marks for his presentation, 5 marks for novelty. No, we'll do okay. 20 marks seminar, 5 marks class. Okay. So guidelines are not preferred. Human factors, as I said, unfairness, subjectivity, maybe some undue pressures also. I may not be doing it, but say, okay, डायरेक्टर वीसी कहीं से भी ऊपर प्रेशर, इसको देख लो भैया, इसको कर लो भैया, and teachers are not able to do justice. Okay, so there are problems related to that also. And then inadequate reporting or non-transparency, right? Teachers, earlier the evaluation system or the examination system was the students were not shown the final exams. अभी भी यूनिवर्सिटी लेवल पे तो नहीं होता है. प्राइवेट इंस्टीट्यूट्स में there is the trend that the student can see their answer sheets, they check, they sign it, then only the teacher can give the marks. But कई जगह ऐसा नहीं है, so that is the major problem in the present evaluation system also. So to that is why the examination reforms have been talked about by AICT so that all these challenges of the present system for evaluating the students is taken care of, right? So, and the main aspect why the examination reforms is to be talked about, because you see, assessment drives learning. Now, if I give you an example, during the COVID times, we teachers changed our style of teaching within a week, 10 days or 15 days, as we came to know okay, there will be no classroom, though no classrooms to teach, and we have to teach them online. We suddenly changed, we shifted to the online teaching. But we could not change the assessment style. Teaching was shifted, but style of assessment or the examinations which we were taking to assess were same. वही क्वेश्चंस डिफाइन, डिटेल, व्हाट इज, डिस्क्राइब. और उससे क्या हो रहा था, बच्चों के पास नोट्स भी हैं, इंटरनेट भी है, मोबाइल भी है, व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप बना के दे आर डूइंग द चीटिंग पार्ट आल्सो. सो जो व्हाट हैपेंड फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर, फर्स्ट जो वो था set of examination, everybody, the students were learning, preparing, but everybody got same marks. जब तक नेक्स्ट सेमेस्टर आया और नेक्स्ट, तो स्टूडेंट्स को लगा कि we are being assessed on the basis of what I can do right there by just copying the entire semester, if I learn it or not, if I attend the online classes or not. But the final paper on the basis of which I'm going to get marks are totally based on कि मैं उस समय बैठ के I can check my notes, or I can cheat from the internet, or I can cheat from my fellow beings whatsoever. तो बच्चों ने पढ़ना ही छोड़ दिया, right? Their learning, totally learning curve dropped because they were being assessed on the basis of learning, right? So, and if I give another example, you say, okay, I'll take my final exam as an open book exam. So now the student will know, if I, even if I have the book in my hand, the formulas are there, the concepts are there, right? But if I do not have the fundamental concepts strong, or if I do not have the understanding of the subject, that book in my hand will be of no use. So his learning will move in the direction कि मुझे I should learn fundamentals, I should learn basics, I should have a good control of my subject, because I'm being assessed on that criteria. So assessment always drives learning. So I always say assessment should be strong, it should be good, right? Because it is the main indicator or of the students or anybody's learning or capabilities or proficiency. Okay, अब देखो हमारे टाइम में क्या होता था कि if a teacher is teaching for the last 5 or 10 years same, the student used to take 10 years papers, और उन्हीं 10 में से बच्चा पेपर करके पास हो जाता था, क्योंकि उसको पता था कि उस टीचर ने यही सब्जेक्ट, यही टॉपिक देना है, सेम he will be using, asking the similar type of questions, and I'll study only those questions and I'll get pass. So please check this. So that is why I always say that what students are learning, how students are learning, that depends upon the how the students are assessed or how the students are evaluated. Okay, and that is why we come up with the, the examination reforms, we call it, how to bring changes in the exams so that the quality of the Indian education system improves or enhances. So two main parameters or approaches are adopted. The first one is adoption of outcome-based education framework. It is the pillar, or it, I would say, foundation stone of any academic system. Yesterday also I was at Triple IT Sonipat, IIT Delhi. I gave this session, I took the session on outcome-based education. That is the main approach which is going to help the entire ecosystem of the education to improve the quality of the education, right? And second approach is the higher order abilities. You already might have gone the through the Bloom's taxonomy. So in Bloom's taxonomy, we all know 6 levels are there. I'll directly come to that. Yeah. So the 6 levels, the lower orders are these first three levels are the lower order skills, and the higher order skills are the upper three levels, right? So the examination, what the reforms, or what I would say the evaluation, are to move in the direction of checking these three capabilities of the students. We have to design such questions, we have to teach in the class in such a way so that we can evaluate the student's performance on the basis of whether he is able to analyze the concept, whether he is able to evaluate whatever he is learning or understanding, and whether he is able to generate some ideas, innovative thinking. Right now, our education system is catering to only these three parts: lower order thinking skills. We are just asking the questions: what is this? How is this? Why? Or detail this, describe this, compare this, use this and explain this, or use this, okay, some numerical portion, up till only 3 levels. So it is high time that we move in this direction in our teaching also, in our evaluation, and asking the questions also. So this is the first and the foremost part, that we have to understand the importance of the higher order abilities as per the Bloom's taxonomy. And as I said, the most important is the adaptation or the outcome based education. Because as the name suggests, every aspect at every level of the education system is outcome based. What the student is learning after the completion of one unit is also measurable. That, okay, after this unit, what he has learned, what is the skill, okay, after completion of what subject, what proficiency the student has achieved, after completion of one lab, what he has what improvement he has in his learning, okay, after completion not only the courses, after completion of semester, after completion of a year, after completion of the entire program. So at every level, the outcome performance has to be measured. And again, whenever we say the performance measurement, we talk about the assessment and evaluation. Okay? So that is why the for the proper evaluation, for reformation in the examination, the OBE should be properly and effectively implemented in every institute. Okay, so it is again a continuous cycle. So where we again, it is a feedback system kind of thing, where we first define that what outcomes we are expecting, what we want to measure at the end, okay, then what, how we are going, what we are identifying this, uh, what sources are required, what data is required, then we are assessing methods or implementing. I won't go into this. So this is the model of OBE, of plan, do, check, and act. I'll come to it further, right? So for the OBE proper implementation, for the higher order thinking skills, main thing is the course outcomes. I hope most of you must be knowing about the various course outcomes and the learning outcomes. That is the outcomes or the proficiencies which we expect from the student at every level after the completion of the course. So when we are saying formative assessment, it means at every level, and at every level we are connecting it to the course outcome or the learning outcomes, even the completion of the unit, even the completion of the subject, even the completion of the semester. Okay, so assessment, again, one more aspect of uh, this OBE and the course outcome. When we talk about the outcomes, we measure in three domains, same thing: cognitive, that is knowledge; psychomotor, that is skill; and then affective. I call it as 3H: human brain, heart, and hands. So human brain is cognitive, that is what knowledge part. Okay, what is able to comprehend, analyze, synthesize. If I compare it with the Bloom's hands, that is the skill, that is the psychomotor domain of learning. Okay, what skill he has gained. And third is the heart, that is the attitude, belief, and that is called the affective learning outcomes. So at every level, when we are saying not only chronological order at every level कि एक semester दो semester, but also at every level means all these three aspects. कितना mental capability बढ़ी है, कितना skill बढ़ा है, और कितना उसका affective domain बढ़ा है. And these are the tools. Like cognitive के लिए you have lectures, okay, tutorials, right? And you have the tools can be end exam, essays, MCQs. For psychomotor you can have lab work, problem based work, group work. You can have practical assessment, poster, presentation, performance, project. For affective, you can have discussion also, you can have lab also, and for that you can have interview, practical assessments, field work, right? So overall, when we say that overall assessment or evaluation of the student has to be done for his holistic development, we need to cater to the these three learning outcomes domains. Okay, so what should be the strategy? The strategy we should be, first of all, formulation of the outcomes. There should be clarity of focus of the to teacher as well as the student, that what outcomes, what is the final learning on the basis of which I will be assessed, should be clear to the student and should be clear to the faculty. So that is the first part of the strategy. Second is we should map our outcomes with the curriculum, that if I want my student after the completion of a course should be able to solve a problem based on, or should solve a design of counters. So it means if I'm going to assess the learning of the student on the basis of the design of counters, my curriculum should have the contents related to the design of counters. Okay, so it is a top down approach. So if outcome is clear, assessment on the basis of that outcome is clear, then only the curriculum is to be designed. And if that is clear, then which teaching learning activities should be performed, or teaching learning activities should be taken care of for achieving those outcomes. And then finally comes the assessing the attainment of outcomes. So this is how the proper assessment strategy should take place. And for that, three metrics every uh, course file should contain. The very first is the course assessment plan. On what criteria the outcomes you are going to assess, what are mid semester, final year, everything. Then what will be the question paper structure? Not the question paper, but the structure, how you are going to evaluate the attainment of the outcomes, on which criterias, on which questions, whether in mid semester, whether in final semester, or so on. And then lastly, the quality alignment. I'll show you one example. So like this is okay, first I'll show you the question, sample question paper. So whatever question you are writing, you have to, we give the marks also, but here we mention the course outcome also, which outcome you want to evaluate. And along with it, now you can write the Bloom's level also, that if this is the course outcome second, then which Bloom's level I want to evaluate. I would, if I have, right? So these three things mainly, the yeah. So course assessment plan, question paper structure, and quality alignment. What I want mean to quality alignment is, I'll show you first example of this. Yeah, this. Every teacher in his course plan should have this metrics. That is, if I don't know whether the COPO mapping or COPOs have been covered in this session or not, but I think most of you must be having the idea. So, but this type of metrics should be there. That is, this is the outcome or the learning which I am going to assess of the student. Okay, this is the statement. Okay, so I want to assess whether the student is able to identify the constituents of concrete material structure also. Okay, it is subject of civil. And if you see, this is K2, it is the Bloom's knowledge level 2. So I want to assess. And what is the Bloom's level 2? That is only the understanding part. First level is remembering. है ना? This I think you all have gone through this. So first level is remember, then you have understanding, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. Okay. So I want that my assessment or my evaluation on the basis of my evaluation to check the outcome of this subject. What assessment tool I have to use? The mid semester exam, say T1. So first evaluation of first learning outcome, course outcome, will be done through the mid semester exam, in which I'll be asking two questions of two parts, and they will be the tool to evaluate. Similarly, if you see this, okay, what I want to assess, whether the student is able to compare the behavior of the properties of the design applications. For this, what tool I am going to use? An assignment. Third one, I want to check whether my student is able to analyze. And analyze means your Bloom's level is now high order. So my student is he able to analyze the characteristics, and how I am going to check that? By two questions in mid semester and say one assignment. And then final is higher level K5. Okay, that is the evaluation part, synthesis part. So that will be whether he is able to prepare a report. So that is I'm taking by lab. So this type of a matrix, if every teacher has, it will give you a very good initiative that on what criteria you are evaluating. And then this will help you to make the question paper also. So if you know that I have to give two questions in this, so it means my first two questions, suppose, okay, this is a separate one. It means in mid exam, first exam, I have to give two questions A and B, which will cater to CO1, which will be related to PO2, and the marks are there and assessment is there. So at the end of the day, when you are going to assess the student, okay, it becomes easier whether you have evaluated the student learning outcome properly or effectively or not, right? So this I would suggest you should have along with your uh, in your course files, the metrics. Okay, so course outcome and COPO mapping along with this attainment or the CO attainment from the assessment. Yeah, one more thing I want to quickly, I have 5 minutes I'll take. That is very important and essential quality characteristics of exams which you have to take care. Because we are talking about the removing of the subjectivity while assessing or evaluating the student. But these three important parameters have also to be taken care of. That is the reliability, validity, and practicality. So when I say reliability, whatever questions you are putting, okay, so say if the reliability means that suppose same question or what you are assessing, how you are assessing the student, if you are giving that student the same set of questions hardness level to the student, are they performing in a same way or a different way? Okay, how consistently the examinee perform on two form of a test. The best example is कि जैसे JEE में or the in the entrance exam we have two sets, okay, and any student four sets देते हैं, series A, series B, series C or series D, and randomly any student can get the various series. So but the reliability of the question paper of the questions in every series is such a way it is set that the hardness level or what you are checking the student's performance, how you want what main how you want to evaluate the student will not be affected by the series which he is getting. ये नहीं कि if I would have got series A तो मेरे marks ज़्यादा आते, if I have got series C तो marks कम है. All the four series will have the similar level of the questions. That is actually the reliability, consistent set of questions on the basis of which you are evaluating the students, right? And similarly, then you have the what do you call this, validity. Okay, what you are measuring, what is, which property, or it is the, like, again, as I gave you the example of, you cannot ask fish, or you cannot check the competency of fish to uh, go up on a tree. No, validity means your what you are testing, how you're testing, they should be in coordination. Your test instrument should have that property which could check the uh, what you want to measure. आप बच्चे की कम्युनिकेशन स्किल, आप बच्चे का कम्युनिकेशन स्किल चेक करना, राइटिंग कम्युनिकेशन स्किल करना चाहते हो, और आप कह रहे हो चलो बोल के सुनाओ. No. So what you are going to measure, and what specifications you are going to measure, that is the actually the value.